Bitcoin just posted its biggest one-day percentage gain since May, up 6% on the day, and the catalyst is massive. Vanguard has finally bent the knee to Bitcoin. After 691 days of blocking spot Bitcoin ETFs, the world's second largest asset manager with $11 trillion and 50 million clients just reversed course. Overnight, one of the last major walls between traditional retirement capital and Bitcoin collapsed, and the market reacted immediately. IBIT alone, BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF, saw $1 billion in volume in the first 30 minutes of trading. That's how massive the pent-up demand was from a customer base that has been prevented from participating since the ETFs launched in January 2024. For years, Vanguard positioned itself as the anti-Bitcoin institution. Their prior CEO said that Bitcoin didn't belong in portfolios, and clients were explicitly barred from buying the ETFs, even as BlackRock, Fidelity, and others opened the floodgates. Meanwhile, the Bitcoin ETFs became the most successful ETF launch in history, and Bitcoin rallied 70% in the 2 months that followed their launch. Eventually, reality wins. The demand for Bitcoin exposure among long-horizon retirement savers was too strong to ignore. And once you understand how Vanguard's client base allocates capital, today's move takes on an even larger meaning. These are not fast-trading hedge funds, these are workers allocating to their IRAs, advisors rebalancing retirement accounts, and households dollar-cost averaging into index funds. This type of capital tends to buy steadily every 2 weeks with their paycheck, hold for decades, and create structural demand in every asset class it touches. That dynamic has transformed the US equity market, and a similar force is now lining up behind Bitcoin. That's why since the launch of these ETFs, Bitcoin's volatility profile has been significantly dampened. Bitcoin's inflation rate is less than 1% per year. 95% of the Bitcoin supply has already been mined, with only 1 million remaining to be mined over the next 150 years. And ETF demand already consumes several multiples of the daily Bitcoin issuance whenever flows accelerate. And that was before access opened to 50 million Vanguard customers worldwide. The timing also matters. In early 2024, when the ETFs first launched, Bitcoin rallied sharply for a reason. New buyers were stepping into a fixed supply asset faster than the market could absorb the demand. A comparable scenario is now forming at a similarly large scale, backed by one of the most passive capital bases on Earth. ETF inflows broke records repeatedly in 2024 and 2025, and this reflects a broader shift in how Bitcoin is being treated, less like a speculative asset and more like a long-term monetary position. Vanguard's decision fits into that trend. The firm did not wake up bullish, it responded to customer pressure and competitive pressure. Millions of retirement savers wanted access to Bitcoin. Their competitors were winning business. BlackRock's IBIT ETF was its most successful ETF launch of all time, and it's raking in over $250,000 worth of fees every single year. Fiduciary standards are now shifting, and the business case for blocking Bitcoin has collapsed. This is a building block in this next stage of Bitcoin adoption. Bitcoin has moved from the margins of traditional finance into the core of the global asset allocation system. Once a firm like Vanguard supports an asset class, it gains a permanent seat inside retirement portfolios, model allocations, and advisor workflows. That is the real takeaway behind today's price action. A new cohort of buyers with multi-decade time horizons now has the ability to accumulate Bitcoin inside the second largest retirement ecosystem in the world. And whenever a new long-term cohort enters this market, the supply-demand imbalance becomes more extreme. That dynamic shaped every major leg higher in this current Bitcoin cycle, and it will shape the one that we're in now. Bitcoin has reached a level of global relevance that forced Vanguard to change, and the next several months will show exactly what that means for the price. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, reshare, and of course follow for more. And of course, check out Horizon. Horizon lets you buy Bitcoin using your home's equity without new debt, monthly payments, interest charges, or term limits. You can learn more and see if you qualify at joinhorizon.com or by just scanning the QR code right there. That's all for today's video. Thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you soon.